my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight is, and I hope you're bringing enough water with you. Make sure you drink up. Sometimes you might not even feel like you're thirsty, but you know, with the heat and all that, like I know where I am, it gets very hot. So make sure you get plenty of water, and you know, make sure you're taking good care of yourself. And if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome, and you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman. Plus, you can also give this video a thumbs up. That is, if you want to be and see that change in the world, because the children really need this. You know, we all need it, but the kids, you know, the ones that are going to be, they're the ones that are going to be the future. They really need this change. So besides giving my videos a thumbs up, you can also leave a message down below, beep, beep, beep. Plus, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can also share my videos with anyone. Plus, you can check out my playlist, and you can reach me, you could reach me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. So here we go. I did go on this trail the other day, and I'm kind of in one of those locations where not a lots going on as far as hiking trails, and so I'm going down this trail is because the last time it started raining. So they say this trail goes pretty far, so I'm just going to start at the beginning. And anyway, today is a new topic. You know, I don't believe I really said too much of this in any of my videos, so I figured, you know, I'm going to make a video on this topic. And just to let you know, because I've been making different topics and learning how to study, and I don't want to say I'm sorry, but, you know, my mentor taught me to make videos without editing, and I try so hard not to edit any of my videos. And the reason why he said this is because I want to show you my flaws. I want to show you that I'm not perfect. And so some of you might scratch your head and wonder, how come she didn't edit that video? Why didn't she do this or that? And it's because I care, but I don't care, because I'm allowing myself to have flaws on my YouTube channel, because I really want you to know that it's okay to have flaws. So I just wanted to, not that I want to say sorry, because I would be lying if I said I'm sorry, because I purposely show you, where I stutter, and, so I said enough about that. I don't want to make a whole video on explaining that. So I just want to let you know why I don't edit things is because it's okay not to be perfect. And that's why I do that. My mentor told me, to be real, to be your authentic self, and really don't edit your videos. So I try so hard not to edit my videos. And so anyway, out here again, but like today, you never know. It's so funny with the weather, people, but there's a lot of times they say that it's going to rain and then it doesn't. But this is weird. This is the second time I came out here, and this is a beautiful dog park. They got a lot of cool stuff. If I had a dog, I would be like, hey, I want to take him out here, because there's a lot of stuff to teach your dog new tricks. And but it's so weird. This is the second time I came through here, and not one car or dog is out here. And maybe, I don't know why, maybe it's too sunny for them, too hot, I don't know. But so anyway, that's not what Starlight wants to talk about either. Today what I want to talk about is, some of you might know this, some of you might not. So I'm just going to put it out. So if you know it, you know it. If you don't, you don't. But like I said, some of you might not know this. Some of you kind of, you never thought of it before or whatever. But the reason for making this video is to let you know that you, hang on, beep, whoops, you are creating your reality. So isn't that a kick in the ass? And this is so important is to understand that you're the creator of your reality. So I don't know how your life is right now, and I know some of you are like, well, Starlight, you're living in your car. But see, whoever said that, was it you? Wait, was it you? Is that you don't understand. This is a blessing in disguise here. It really is. Where I am. And, you know, I came to the realization it's not about what you own, you know, and I'm actually ahead of most people in my situation, even though I am in my car. And you're probably wondering, how is that possible? You know, is that because I'm working on myself, I'm finding out who I am, and I am happy. I know, like this morning, I had people looking at me this morning. I was so proud of myself because I woke up before my alarm clock. I've been setting my alarm clock, and it's kind of weird. My one alarm clock that I did set didn't even go off, and that's why I was having a hard time with it before, is that it's a little funky. It's a battery-operated alarm clock, and I can't really use my phone because I have to turn it off at night because it's not good to have your phones on at night. So anyway, I woke up before my alarm clock, so it was before 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I turned my phone on, and then my alarm, I didn't even know that I had the alarm set on my phone, so that played beautiful music to wake me up, but I was already had awake of my alarm clock, and I just woke up like as happy as can be. And I went to go get water, hot water at the gas station so I can have my coffee in the morning. And, you know, I wore my blue starry pants. I felt so great. I wore my wild and free shirt that I'm wearing now. And I felt like I was on clouds. And there was a man that was in the gas station. He looked at me wondering, you know, because I had so much energy where everybody's just like, you know, they're being groggy from waking up, you know, they got to go to work and all this stuff. They're just, you know, not quite there. And Starlight was just so full of pep this morning. And it's so funny. I seen a man holding his dog, and it was so cute. They might have been traveling, and they were just outside the gas station with a blanket around the dog. And I just went over and said, wow, it looks so beautiful, you know, because he was taking such good care of his little doggy. And it just was such a beautiful picture that I saw, you know, and it was nothing about it wasn't because he was a handsome man. It's just that, you know, it just was so beautiful to see how this man was taking good care of his doggy, you know, and they were probably traveling. And so I was so full of pep, and that there's people that were next door, at the other gas pump, you know, and they heard me, you know, go over there to talk to that man and just say how great it was that, you know, he was taking good care of the dog. And then his wife or girlfriend or whoever, then I turned around and I looked, and then she was holding the dog, and she had the blanket wrapped around him. And then I went back over again and I said, wow. And it was the husband and the wife or whoever, you know, the couple. And I go, wow. I said, I just came over and said how beautiful it was to see, you know, your husband holding the dog, and that he's taking good care of it, and with a blanket. And they said the dog is spoiled, and I believe it, because I do. I see a lot of people spoiling their dogs, but I just was full of life this morning. So, you know, you could have everything, have a house, have a beautiful car, have a family and all that, and be miserable. But see, I've been working on myself. I've been doing the inner work. So I love what God has done with me. And was it easy in the beginning? Absolutely not. But I love where I am right now. So I don't care about having a house or an apartment and, you know, like having this and having that, because I'm happy with who I am and what God is doing, because I'm learning so much. I'm meeting beautiful people, you know. So now back to you're creating your reality is, and like I said, I'm finding out who I am. That's more important, is to find out who you are in this world before, you know, God takes you out of here, is to find out, who are you? Why are you here? What's your purpose? And So this is what I am already doing. There's a lot of people, they live their whole lifetime, they never found out why they were here. They never found out who they are. And so with this video, it's about letting you know that you're creating your reality. And like I had to put myself out there first to let you know that some people would be, judging Starlight, thinking that, what's up with her? Why is she living in her car? I'm happier now than I was when I was in my apartment. Ooh, spider webs. They just went in my face because nobody's been on this trail again, I guess. So anyway, is sometimes what happens, like what Starlight used to think a long time ago, is I always was pointing my finger at a lot of other people why my life was the way it was when I wasn't working on myself, in the days, when I wasn't the same person who I am now. And I'm saying years ago, I would blame the government for why my life was the way it was and where I wasn't. Sorry, I got cobwebs all over, and I just want to make sure that none of those spiders are going to climb and make a nest in my hair. So let's see, I'm going to go, I think this way. So I was guilty, more spider webs. I was guilty at, especially the government. I pointed my fingers, which, a lot of it is true, though. They do make people's life, the way they got the system all set up, and, they make it impossible for a single person to make it, because with the taxes, ooh, spider webs. Oh, I got spider webs. Sorry about this, people, but I'm like, lots of spider webs. I could feel them on my arms. Sorry. I gotta just make sure I don't bring any of these babies with me, because they could be poisonous out here. And I'm not afraid of spiders. It's just that I don't want to carry them along with me on this walk here, because it could actually, inject something in my skin without me knowing about it. And so anyway, I used to point fingers at my family and said, you're the reason. I didn't say anything to them, but without them knowing, I was like blaming some of my family, not my kids. I love my whole family. Not that there's no one that I don't, I love everyone. I got, I'm so filled with love. There's not anybody that I don't like. If anything, they might not like me, but hey, there's people that need to grow, and, there's things that go on in the world and make them think and feel a certain way. A lot of people are jealous. So I love everyone. And, but when I was younger, because of my childhood and the family I came from, I used to think that is the reason why my life was going, and I was no dummy, though. Throughout my life, I knew it was a lot to do with the Matrix and the people that run this world, of why things were the way they were throughout my life, as far as work goes, trying to get a job, trying to, pay for the rent, pay for the bills. Being a single person with 2 kids, is not easy. They got the whole system backwards and inside out and upside down. So a lot of us do know that. And, depending on your situation, where I've heard, like, people that don't get married, it makes it, because they do so many things with the taxes and all this stuff. And not that I've been actually legally married. I don't really know how that really goes as far as paying taxes, if it's better to be married, or is it better to not to be married and have, but when you're doing it all on your own and you don't have somebody in the household helping you, it is very hard. And so we all could have been guilty at one point, saying I'm not saying this about my life right now. Because you wouldn't believe the stuff that the universe, God, has been showing me every day, and I'm amazed, where I've been doing some funky stuff with people when I meet them, and I'm blowing their minds, because of the stuff that I'm learning, and they're like, wow. Which those will be another video on another, ooh, I got cobwebs. This is like so full of cobwebs in here. So lately I've been having a gift of just blowing people's minds, and they're just like, I just let them sit there for a while, and they're just like, wow, what just happened here? Just like kind of what was going on with Starlight last night. Woo! But anyway, is that we are the creators of our life. Ooh, more cobwebs. That was a lot. They're all over. I'm saying that. See, I'm creating this in my... See, because I'm saying they're all over in here. So I'm creating that reality in my life. I'm like, okay, there's no more cobwebs in here. See what I just did? I'm reversing that. That's exactly how we create our reality is... What are you saying in your reality? And I meet a lot of people that do this, and I used to be one of them, but my mentor really helped me out a long time ago with this. And it really, it took some time. It didn't happen overnight, guys and girls. It doesn't happen overnight. I meet people, and I met a couple people yesterday, and we had a great conversation. One was quicker than the other because I had to go to the bathroom. But, we are the ones creating it. We can't blame it on our family of what they did when we were a kid, or what they did or what they didn't do. Ooh. Sometimes it's what they didn't do. It messes kids up. It's not always the wrong that they did. Sometimes it's things they didn't do. I'm laughing. It's just I feel like a tree with cobwebs stuck all over me. So Starlight has been goofy all day, but so with creating your reality, it's how do you respond? And I know most of my life I needed to get healed. There's no joke about that, and my mentor, helped me to get through that process. Ooh, man, cobwebs. Whew. So now, ooh, more cobwebs. I am so sorry. I cannot, there's so many. I gotta stop saying that. So, yes, I understand. Ooh, lots of cobwebs. I am so sorry. I cannot help this, Ed. I'm like the first one. Nobody came through this hiking trail, and I'm like getting and they've been here who knows how long. I know I seen a guy ride his bike, but I don't know if he came through here. I just seen him come through a different area. You don't know this, but right now I have my one left arm out in front of me, trying to stop any cobwebs from hitting my face, but it seems like the cobwebs hit me on the right of my arm where my phone is. And then when I try to get the ones on my right arm, then they get me in my face. So, like I was saying, there's people that were kids that went through horrible abuse when they were little, and that they do need to get healed from that. That's no joke. I'm not here to laugh about that. That is serious stuff, but as you get older, and you really need to get healed from all that stuff, and that's one of those things that we want to say, my life is the way it is because of either what my parents did to me or what they didn't do to me, what my family did or what they didn't do. How about like exes, I'm the way I am because of my relationships with guys or women, that's who I am. That's why I am. That's why my life sucks. And I'm not saying my life sucks. I'm just using that as an example of how people are. They're not happy in their life, and they look at their life saying, pointing fingers at everyone else of what they've done wrong to them. Some of you might not even trust anybody as far as relationship goes. And I don't know what's up with Starlight is we all gone through some shit when it comes to relationships. Like Starlight just recently, had her heart broken by somebody that deceived her. And But you know what? It was a lesson for me to learn. And now I'm just like, okay, what was that lesson? You know? So, and we want to stay in the now as much as possible. And I know I say stuff in my videos to try to, use those that I can't tell you about other people's lives. And I do sometimes when I meet people and stuff like that. But I really can't use other people's situations that I'm not even aware of. So that's why a lot of times I use my own, because they're real, they're true. I know what I felt. I know what I learned through that whole thing. So that's why you'll hear me talk about stuff I went through, because I'm trying to help you in your life so you can learn by the things that I'm learning to help you out. So, like when you run across those kind of things in your life, they're like, yeah, you know what? Starlight learned a lesson about, having a heart broken, and it's very, very painful when somebody breaks your heart, So that was a lesson in life. So we need to really think of how we respond to things and how we, like, are you a person that likes to get even with people when they hurt you? And Starlight's not. And I am, I can prove that over and over again, because, I didn't go and get even with that person that broke my heart. There's things I could have done. I thought of many ways of thinking that, yeah, I could do this and yeah, I could do that. But that's not me. That's not who I am. But we can be tested, by going through certain situations to see how we're going to respond. And the other thing of how you're creating your reality is by the things that come out of your mouth. What kind of things do... Oh, cobwebs. Whew, that was right in my face. I'm trying so hard to block these things, but they're all over. Oh no, I said that. See how I'm creating that reality by saying that? That's my example, really, is I hear people, these are things that I hear a lot of people say, and I don't say these things, is my birthday's gonna be coming up, and you know what I say? Ooh, my birthday's coming up. I'm going to be younger, I just talked to a beautiful lady out here yesterday, how she's 70, and she told me stuff that she's going to do, like what she wants to help out the planet with, and I thought it was great, so I got to talk with her for a few minutes on what she wants to do to be a change in the world, and it's about animals and trying to help so then Mother Earth doesn't get polluted with like toxic chemicals in the earth. And so hey, I inspired her. Yes, do whatever you can, do as many things as you can. So we had a great conversation, so is there's people that they create their own reality by the words that they use, because words are very powerful, and I learned that from my mentor. I had some sayings. Even my family actually helped me out with some of the things in my past, like where it was actually creating bad stuff in my life, and I wasn't even aware of it then like I am now. Like my brother that passed away recently is he just couldn't believe how I always seemed, and I'm just saying this for past tense, not now, because right now I'm not gonna, I am gonna be bringing in my life my twin flame, and that is to help me to be that change that I want to see in the world, and besides become my greatest version, because that's the kind of man that I desire in my life. So so I'm not drawing, what I'm going to say on this topic is that my brother used to say is I always seem to draw a certain type of men in my life. And he just was like, wow, like he couldn't understand. He's like, he knew me. He actually, that brother really knew me very well, but he just couldn't understand because how he knew me, that how I always seemed to have been getting the same kind of men, really bad men in my life. And so I didn't understand that until I was learning it. Ooh, I felt something bite me. But yeah, these things the spider webs are here. Oh man. Next time I'll have to walk through first, get all the cobwebs off of me, because I got so many, I just got to take a few minutes to wipe these off of my skin because I'm sweating and these cobwebs are sticking to my skin. And I just have to be careful because they do, that everywhere you go, there's going to be poisonous, venomous spiders and bugs no matter where you go. But I just want to make sure that they're not coming with me for this walk. So I didn't realize that my brother was, he's like, wow, if they're out there, you'll find them, I used to laugh and I used to agree with it, what he was saying. And I'm like, ooh, now I realize, by thinking that way, I was only going to draw in more of those kind of men in my life. So we want to always focus on what we want in our life. That's why I was trying to word things in a correct way earlier in this video, is to saying how I'm a magnet to my twin flame, my real twin flame. And that kind of man that I am going to manifest is a man that is going to help me work on myself. He's a man that's going to help me to grow, to be that change. That he's going to help me. That kind of man, the twin flame, is going to show me my flaws so I can get healed. And I'm going to do that. I'm laughing. I got to laugh because that's what I'm going to do to his ass. Not purposely, though. I laugh because I used to do that with the guy that I thought was my twin flame. He was asking for it, though. He would actually say, I'm helping you, but where are you helping me? Help me out. And, eventually, after years of getting to know the person, I did. I started showing him his flaws. So, but he asked for it, I'm like, hey, if you really want me to point your flaws out, I will. And so, after a while, for the longest time, I couldn't see any flaws, because I was so, deceived in my own way of looking at stuff, and that's what love does to you. Sometimes, you see it, but you're not, you don't want to really believe it, kind of stuff that you over. But unconditional love is like that, is that, you could see a fault in somebody and you can accept them for who they are, and also help them with that issue that they're having, because they, in their hearts that they want to be that change in the world, or, work on themselves. So, by helping them out and showing them their flaws, then it's up to them whether they do anything about that or not. So as far as, creating your reality, your words are very powerful. So, what do you say on a, do you say, I wish, I just talked to a guy the other day, and he, and this has been happening a lot, is I meet people and then they find out that I'm doing what I'm doing, in my car. You wouldn't believe how many people want to do what I'm doing. Not exactly what I'm doing, but they don't want to, they don't want to pay for rent. They don't want to live in a house. They want to travel the world. And so it is kind of funny. This guy's like, hey, maybe we can, get together and, get an RV and travel the world. But that guy is not my twin flame. So that would not work. That's not the man that God has for me, because God has that man out there for me. It's just when I do that inner work, that's when God is going to reveal, I'll be blessed with that man, that God has set for me. So, you got to be really careful of the kind of words that you say, and, because you can bring that in. Energy goes where energy flows. So if you're thinking negative about stuff, like saying, I'm getting old, well, yeah, you're going to be getting old, because you're saying that, so there's a lot of things that I could say in this video. And the other thing also is, not only your words are very powerful, how do you think? This is where the universe has been congratulating me, because the universe is like, wow, like this is how I've been getting paid, like getting food and getting gas money or getting my bills paid, is God sees that I'm doing that inner work. And then I get messages where the universe will say, hey, Starlight, we see that you're really working hard and you're being more positive than before. And because you've been, I get messages, and then the universe will tell me what I need to work on, and then I do that work. And I'm not saying I get everything done, but, I'm working on a lot of different things, at different times. And so then I'll get messages where the universe will send the angels to give me messages with numbers, which I got a whole lot of numbers I got to look up. So, they let me know, hey, you're doing a great job. You're being positive. And I'm being tested all the time. You wouldn't believe the way I'm getting tested. There's times I need like water, and this is, I don't really care what anybody thinks about my situation. It doesn't even matter what anybody thinks, because I'm right exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm working on me, and that's what's more important than anything. I just told a guy that not too long ago, he's been getting judged because he has a bicycle and he doesn't want to go get those, jobs out there, because he goes, I'm not going to be happy. And he's got a lot of people pointing fingers at him, and, they, I don't know exactly everything that they're saying about him, but I said, you know what, working on yourself, finding out who you are, is the most important thing you could do right now. And trust that God's going to take care of everything, So it is so important that we do work on ourselves. But as far as like your reality goes, you're the one creating. If you're miserable in your life right now, it's because of how you're responding to stuff. And are you learning your lessons in life? And that's the part of it. Sometimes, we have lessons. And sometimes, like Starlight we all have gone through this. Sometimes we don't learn the lesson right away. So sometimes, many times I have to say, we have to go through it again to learn that lesson. And then and that's why, I make videos about jumping into relationships. Sometimes people are like, how'd this happen again? Well, you jumped into the relationship. You didn't give yourself a break from the last person that you were with. And, you were impatient. You didn't, you didn't know enough about that person. And a lot of times it's about fleshly desires. It's about saying, ooh, I wonder what he would be like, behind the bedroom door, or I wonder what she would be like to have sex with, or I wonder what he like a lot of times I wonder what she looks like when she's naked. And, things get really spicy too quick. And before you know it, bam, you're already kissing, you're already doing all this stuff. And then, then once you get to that point, then you feel like you got to continue, because you, I just had a bug land on me. That was a big bug. But, I think that was a stink bug, is that people do. They rush things as far as relationship goes. They didn't, and a lot of times, not all the times, it's a lot of it's about wanting sex from somebody and not really, sometimes they haven't been with a girl in so long, or haven't been with a guy so long. And, there's a lot of things that can happen as far as, being too quick about going with somebody. I gotta see where this is leading, because I feel like I'm going around in circles here. So, have you learned your lesson? And, and then you wonder why the same stuff keeps on happening. Just like my mentor was saying, is like, you're kind of like, oh, I got spider webs in the face. Oh man, that was a good one. It's that these spiders, they actually have a good way of especially women, get in your hair, and you might not even know about it. So with relationships, that's why you don't spend some time with yourself. Find out who you are. And this is a big, huge problem why the world is the way it is, because people are too much of a rush to jump with somebody and hurry up and not even know who they are, and not, did you find out what their health is like? What do you really know about that person? Are they healthy? Did they get tested? A lot of people are so quick to, get into bed with somebody and, they didn't even go to the doctors to, get tested to see if they got anything. It's so important to do that, is to really find out, hey, how's your health? Just because somebody will say something to you, you got to really know what to ask. And are they even an honest person? Not everybody is going to tell you things. There's people that have secrets they don't want you to know, because they know if they tell you, you might not want to go with them, So a lot of people do have a lot of secrets out there, and and then later on you find out something and you're like, and then you get mad at that person because of something, but is it really all their fault? Were you too quick, to get into something that you didn't take time? Is it really worth it? So you really got to ask yourself, like, do I know enough about this person to go to that level yet? And that's, and then you wonder why, you get hurt. Now, when I got heartbroken, I never even met the guy. So you know what? I am grateful. That guy, if he wanted to, he could have deceived me and got me into it further. But I'm so grateful that I learned the lesson before, I met the person. So, and then I just got to learn the lesson that he taught me. That way, spider webs, is that way I can protect myself from, that kind of thing again with any other male that comes in my life, because I meet a lot of men, and I have to say, they'll find out information about me, and before I know it, every guy I meet, they want to do the same thing I want to do, and I know that's not true. So there's a lot of people, they'll say everything that you want to hear, just to kind of like, because they want to be with you, so they'll say whatever. So that's why we have to be wiser than that. We got to be smart. We can't keep on believing what everybody says, and when they got to prove that stuff, Oh, you say you want to help kids and you want to travel the world, Do you really? Or are you just saying that, So I get that a lot from guys right now. They find out about what my YouTube channel is, and then before you know it, they want to, not saying that they don't want to. It just, really puts a big question in my headspace to make me be aware of really if they're being real or not. So, so that would be my lesson there, is to, they gotta prove that, So, anyway, I've been like talking for a while on this, but we are the ones creating a reality. Now, some of you might think that because I live in my car, is that, I don't have nothing to show for. And I gotta say, you're wrong. I'm happy. Are you? I am happy as a single person, and I'm not in a rush to get with anybody. And even though I would love to be with somebody, it's just that I'm enjoying my time with myself right now. So are you happy with who you are and where you are, what your job is, how your family is? So that is what you really, that's what matters. It's not about the house, cobwebs. It's not about the house, the car, to impress everybody. It's about who you are. Are you happy with who you are? Do you love yourself? Are you content with the way your life is? And like I said, I woke up this morning like, ooh, Tigger was popping out. And I did. I had guys two guys at a different gas pump that was checking me out this morning, and I couldn't help but I went to the park that morning, had my cup of coffee, and I was thinking of a song that came to my head as I was driving away at the gas station, and all I could think of was a song that Madonna sings, and I love this song. I like a lot of Madonna's older music. I don't know about now, but one of her songs that came to mind this morning was "Who's That Girl?" And that's the song I had fun with this morning, is because that's pretty much the energy that I was feeling this morning, is because I was just so happy. And I was dressed, people kind of giggle when they see my star pants, and I know what that's like because I do the same thing when I see women wearing star pants, but I love it. So anyway, really, you gotta really think twice of the things that you're saying, and don't point fingers at everyone else why your life is the way it is. You're the one that lets people, like, especially when you're an adult, you're the one a lot of times that are letting people run you over. You're the one that's letting them in your space, so you're the one that's, really the creator of your reality, and you don't have to have those people in your life if they're treating you bad and disrespecting you. You don't have to be with that girl that's just using you. You don't have to be with that man that is verbally abusing you or whatever. I'm just using these as an example of things that really do go on with the opposite sex, or people out there. So it's up to you on who you spend the rest of your life with. And a lot of people, they are fake. They're miserable with the one that they're with, but they don't want to break up, because then they know they would be responsible for paying everything. And that means that they got to pay all the bills. That means the beautiful house that they live in, they might not be able to afford it. So they're letting material things overtake them. They're letting that stuff be more important than their own peace and happiness. So it's so important, whatever's going on in your life, are you happy with the job? Are you happy with where you live? Are you happy with the one that you say I love you to? Or you're married to? There's a lot of people out there. And I don't want to say this, but there's people that feel that they're trapped. They're not trapped. You're the only one that's trapping yourself by staying in that situation that you're miserable in. And, like where, you want to work extra hours just to avoid that person, or, just do your own thing and just live together and, like have those kind of relationships. You're the one letting that shit happen. You're the one in control of your life. It's up to you whether you are going to have that person in your life, or you take the steps of saying, you know what, she's right. I need to be free from this. I would rather, be with somebody that's going to love, and I got a lot to offer a girl or a guy, and I am been with this person. I've been trying to work on this relationship, and, it just seems one-sided. I feel like I'm doing all the work, and I don't feel that we're connected anymore. When's the last time you had sex with them? And when you did, how did it feel? When that connection is no longer there, and you know it, they know it, you know it, and you're just going along with the, with the motion of, this is what we got to do. No, it isn't. You don't have to do that, but you got to be real with yourself first before you can be real with them. Once you are able to realize that, shit, I'm with the wrong guy, or I'm with the wrong girl, or the wrong kind of friends, nothing's going to change until you face it. You got to be real with yourself and real with them. So anyway, I do love you, and I know that this is a long video. I love you so much, and I really hope you get a lot of help, because it's not other people, it's you. I'm the one creating my reality, and to most people it might not look like much, but I know to God, God's happy with the work I've been doing. can God say the same about you? So I do love you all, and we all can change things the way they are going. They don't have to stay the same. Just, know what you want in life. What is it that you want? What is it that you desire? Do you desire, a man or a woman that's going to respect you and be there as a team player, not somebody that's, behind your back and saying stuff or, disrespecting you? It's up to you, the kind of guy or girl. But of course, like I say in a lot of my videos, is don't run out there, try to get another one. Is, find out who you are first, and then when you do the inner work, you'll find that one, when you're not looking. So anyway, I love you all. This is Starlight. You could give this video a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget, you can leave a message down below, beep, beep, beep. Plus, you can also share my videos. Ooh, I got my little dinger bell. Don't forget the little bell to do the notifications. That way you do not miss any videos. And check out my playlist, because you never know what the heck Starlight's going to talk about next. And you can follow me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. I love you so much, and I did get a lot of cobwebs out here. I'm going to have to freshen up later. I'll be having like spiders going to bed with me tonight, and they're not allowed in my vehicle. So anyway, I do love you. This is Starlight. Love, light, and peace.